Hi, I'm Dr. Johnny Lewis, and I'm excited to be part of this class. It's a topic that's near and dear to my heart as a special education teacher for several years now. A little bit about me. I am the spouse of my wife, Monica, the father of two kids. We live in Shawnee, Kansas. I teach in the DeSoto School District. I work in a center-based program for secondary students who have emotional and behavioral needs. My hobbies and interests include the Tennessee Volunteers. I'm a huge fan, even when they break my heart. The Chiefs. My daughter and I have Sporting KC season tickets this year, and we're really enjoying going back to live sports. Fish, Grateful Dead, jam bands. During the pandemic, I've really gotten into reading Neil deGrasse Tyson and other kind of science stuff that I've never really explored before. I understand maybe a tenth of it, but I really enjoy it. I have 8 years experience in secondary special education. Some of that was spent in collaborative teaching in the state of Kentucky and also some time in Kansas now as well. Most of my time has been spent in center-based behavior programs, doing a lot of para-education staff management. And then I also have 9 years in nonprofit management, doing fundraising, budgeting, and staffing as well. Educationally, I have a master's in special education. I have a master's of divinity with an emphasis in clinical counseling. I have a doctorate in theology. My dissertation area of study was nonprofit management, sustainability, and community partnerships in the 21st century United States. As it relates to this first unit, this first module that we've been a part of, and thinking about how administrators can encourage inclusivity in the school, I've been reflective about my own experience as a special education teacher and the ways that administrators can make the schools an incredibly positive place for my students or one that is fearful for them. I'm really grateful to be in a school that is trauma-informed in the way they do discipline and really puts a place of emphasis on supporting the students I work with who have mental health needs. Some tangible ways from the readings that were mentioned was encouraging training that administrators can do. We can encourage training that informs teachers about issues related to privilege, oppression, and racism. Encourage academic support services that will decrease achievement gaps. In my own school, my own students have access to a school psychologist, to a social worker, to 6 para-educators for 14 students, myself, and then their educational staff as well. I think that's a great example of different types of support services that can be offered to encourage students to be completely included in the school. Hiring diverse staff and model appropriate attitudes of inclusion to students and staff in our behavior as leaders. Some strategies for doing that: creating an advisory council to focus on inclusive culture with a singular goal. A way of supporting some students is inviting the creation of a gay-straight alliance in the school where I work. I recently got to meet one of the first out LGBTQ students in our school's history. It was about 15 years ago, and she talked with me about the bullying and different issues that she encountered, and she was thrilled to get to come and to share her experience with our Gay Straight Alliance that has over 50 students involved in it now. So those are great ways to offer support, to share research related to inclusion, bullying of LGBTQ students with the staff. Other ways to encourage advocacy is to move toward positive assumptions, to make these assumptions as administrators and to encourage and model for our staff to make these assumptions as well. That each student can and will learn and succeed, that adversity enriches us, that it's not a problem to be solved, that students who are at risk can overcome the risk for failure through involvement in a thoughtful and caring community of learners. Each student has a contribution to offer rather than each student is a problem to be solved. They are an important part of the classroom that offers a contribution, and that each student has strengths and needs. Training and hiring teachers who value classrooms, that value what each student has to offer, that plans for every student rather than just leaving it to a special education teacher or a para-educator, that consults with those resources and makes sure that there's a positive plan for every student in the case of students with IEPs. Establishing respect for every learner and sees the classroom as a full community where every member of the community is valued. And then moving toward the just expectation that all students deserve equal access to a program of study with the goal of college and career readiness. And I know for me, in the student population that I work in, this has been a tremendous conversation we've had about how to move our program forward, and that is to move from the goal of graduating students to the goal of students having jobs and being college and career ready when they graduate. These are the sources that I used for completing this assignment. Thank you.